Hello everybody and welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be working on this. So this is actually a project I started a little while ago. It was the base for a welder stand that I was making, and I didn't have material that I actually wanted to use for this because I had mostly this box steel left. I just didn't want to use that for this. I really was preferring some angle iron like that. And you know, because of this whole virus thing, everywhere is closed and I can't get materials very easily. But recently, it was spring cleanup for my city, and everyone was putting out junk on their junk out on their curbs, and I got this. This is actually, as you can see, just some angle steel here, and it's actually part of a bed frame. And this is good, solid steel, so there's nothing wrong with that. So I was going to use this to make the legs of this stand and get it a little further. I still don't have any casters or anything like that, but I can actually make the stand and get it up and off of the floor. So let's get to it. So this bed angle steel that I have is actually pretty solid, but there are things on it. As you can see, right up in here, there are these notches which are used to latch in, and then on this side it's still all attached together, and wheels and all kinds of other stuff on there. So that's the downside to using recycled materials like this, is a little bit of extra work up front. However, on this piece in particular, it's actually going to save me work because it's got all these slots right here that I'm going to be able to hook all my bits and pieces, my brush and things like that right onto here. So in this case, it's actually saving me a little bit of work. Alright, so I was getting ready to cut some other pieces for the base, but I realized that these pieces that I already cut and the stock I have left from this bed rail are actually a slightly different size. That changes my design a little bit here. Not the actual design, just the way I'm going to do this cut. Because previously, in order to make sure that this all met up nicely on the top here, I was going to end up cutting off the bottom piece at an angle. And I don't mind if this has a step here, so I'm just going to take this and just weld it right on top, right on here, just like that, and call it good. Alrighty, so I've got all of my pieces cut here. Got all my legs. I've got width and length pieces for my base right here and the legs. So now I have to actually prepare them for welding. You saw that for the most part, I missed one right here. I got rid of the burrs and the flanges, the little lips created up on the top edge that's sharp. Should look more like that, much softer, much not sharp. The problem though is that there is paint on these pieces, and I need to remove that paint before I can weld it together. The best way to go about that for me is one of these, a wire wheel. Now ideally I'd have one of these for the angle grinder to make much shorter work of it, but I don't. So I'm going to put this one on my drill. Alrighty, so I have this base welded up on these inside edges. I haven't done anything on the outside yet, but you can see the shape that it's going to have, and it is far from perfect. This thing has a 1/4 inch taper from one end to the other, so it's actually somewhat trapezoid shaped. And the welds are terrible. They look like garbage, but that's the beauty of this kind of a project, is it doesn't really matter, and I'm just starting and learning and using this project to learn. So I'm going to keep trucking away and do these welds on the outside, and then stick in the legs and build those up, and we'll be good to go. It'll be pretty close to done then. So I do have a little bit more work to do on this, and it's all cleanup related. This is usable as it is right now, but I need to grind down some of these nasty welds and even up the top, and then I do have a little bit of a wobble and a rock right now, so I need to even out the feet. And then at some point down the road, I don't have them right now, I'm going to be adding casters to the bottom so this can actually roll around. And as I continue to use it, I'll add certain things like hooks and cable management, that sort of thing. But this is more or less done right now, so let's just tidy it up and show you what it's got. Alrighty, and this is my welder stand for the time being. It does have a little bit of work that needs done on it, but it's to the point where I can use it. I'm kneeling right now. What this does for me is this gets me to a decent working height to where I'm not having to reach down here like this to work on it. Now I can use this and reach all the knobs standing up, which is what I was going for. Obviously, it's not a very pretty design. It's not perfect, it's pretty poorly welded, and I didn't even paint it. But there's still work to be done, like I mentioned. One of those things is painting, and I'm also planning on putting wheels on the bottom. Right now there's no wheels, I don't have any, and because of all this virus stuff, everywhere is closed, I can't get hold of any. So I have to pick it up and carry it to wherever I'm going to be working. But I do have a spot to hang this up. It gets all my cords and my tube, I guess. I don't even know what that's called. my wire feed all off the ground, so it's not getting stepped on and that sort of thing. And this gives me some extra storage on the front with these holes. I can actually hook things on it, and there's just a lot of stuff I can do. And put a base on the bottom. I'll probably add some shelves and that sort of thing, so that this is going to just house my welder stuff. For now, it's just this, but it's a good start, and it'll give me a spot to do a lot of this stuff down the road. So I'm really excited. This is my first fully completed job that I've done with a welder at all, and I think it's a good one. Use the tool to improve the tool. I've been starting to do the same thing with my 3D printer in the other room. I'll have some videos on that here soon. So if you want to see those, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys then.